from wherever you are in the world, and I see more people coming to join us. So thanks for spending this time with us. I wanted to share something with you as we're getting started. Been doing some cleaning out of in storage and discovered our hula hoops. And although I haven't done this since I was like 9, and when I was practicing, I could do about 3 of these. That's about as many as I can do. But I wanted to show you the hula hoop as an illustration of your personal space. So if I'm doing this slowly, you can see that my personal space goes all around me, and it goes this direction as well. And so as we're focusing on loop of awareness, also this one has a little something in it like water or something, so it kind of goes whoosh whoosh when you go around. So we used to use those for sharing with people how to take 100% responsibility, stepping into the circle and then stepping out. But what I would like you to envision, in fact, I'd like everybody, if you have room, to stand up and imagine how your experience over the last period of time has maybe shrunk you towards your middle. And I want to invite you, especially over the next few days, to be letting yourself expand out. I sometimes call it claiming your muchness, expanding out into all of the space around you, letting your breath, letting your awareness under your armpits, the sides of you, the backs of you, so that your first kind of loop of awareness, in fact, this, I like to do swinging and kind of let my arms swing around, is really a sense of, no matter where I am in the world, this is my space. And so letting yourself, when you're doing loop of awareness, let yourself start inward somewhere where you maybe feel a little contracted, maybe some fear contraction in your belly, or you feel contracted around your heart. Just go ahead and scoop up some love from all of this space and give it to that place. And then letting the breath, your breath, expand outward. You can use other fear melters, like you can let yourself wiggle out to your edges. You could let yourself ooze out to your edges. You could definitely let yourself sumo out to your edges, and feel free to make noises with that. And so coming into any place where you're feeling burdened or heavy or contracted, give yourself some love scoops there. Taking a couple of breaths with that, and then letting your movement take you all the way out to the edges. And now I want you to imagine that as you're moving around the world, and even as you're just thinking about other people, that you let that sense of expansion and presence extend out around you. You can extend it out and around to your community, and then coming back to you, making sure you come back to you. I'm finding my attention too wanting to go into my feet. So I can sumo by letting myself bounce, feeling my feet, and then letting that sense of being at home with me, letting that waft out into the world. And then coming back home to you, just like the hula hoop, or if we had several of them going, we'd have infinity loops going. So your loop can go with other people's loops. And I also, you might notice I'm wearing a lot of color today. And I invite you to celebrate the colors that you enjoy, the beauty that you enjoy. I invite you to let color and light and a focus on beauty be what you're sharing, especially over the next few days. Find some place in you that you're willing to say is beautiful. Could be just the I'm beautiful. I'm willing to be fully beautiful. Ooh, and if you feel scared about that, do some fear melters. Couldn't possibly say that. And then letting your recognition and seeing of beauty be spreading out around you as you're sending your loop of awareness out into the world. Let yourself be looking for beauty. Let yourself be looking for connection. And let yourself play with the pace right now of spreading out into space and coming back into you that feels the most delicious to you. Play with going faster and slower until you find the pace that feels most flowing to you. And let yourself imagine that the hula hoop is going in this vertical dimension. And so it's including moving out into the world and coming back into you and feeling your back and supporting your front and noticing any tightness or contraction in your back. And you can do love scoops. It's kind of like breaststroke. You can do love scoops to your back, any place in your back that's wanting your attention. And letting yourself add the because the creates wonder. The can create that sense of connection. And now just let yourself pause for a moment and give your attention to your insides and see if you can feel more flow, more connection inside. And when you open your eyes, notice if you see things with more space, you see things with more openness. And letting yourself see what happens if can you take that into, for those of you who want to, can you take that into sitting? Because I imagine that some of you are going to be on your computers, you're going to be connecting with people over the next few days. So how can you create that lovely sense of at homeness and connecting with others and at homeness, feeling the space around you. So your muchness is, think of yourself as claiming your muchness. You can even say that out loud. I claim my muchness. I am full of muchness. I am so much. And for those of you who got told that you were too much, you can just go ahead and say, yes, I am too much. And go ahead and celebrate your muchness. In all of the times and the ways that people tried to get you to slow down or not be so full of yourself, I'd like to invite you to be so full of yourself. How can you create even more fullness of yourself? And how can you send that invitation out? I'd like you to think of somebody in your life that you would like to wish muchness to, and I'd like you to just send it to them. Letting your body invent, telepathically with your attention, just sending them that invitation to be fully expanded into their muchness. And then bringing your attention back to you and any little place in you that's feeling a little shy or a little, oh, I couldn't possibly, or there's not enough space for all of us. And I'd like you to take up even more of your space than you usually do. Take up enough space so that it begins to trigger your, I'm too much. And then let yourself do love scoops to any place in you that you're feeling the too muchness. Like you might be getting hot cheeks, or you might be having lots of thoughts. So you can love scoop to your head. You can imagine the hula hoop continuing to circle and celebrating muchness, because you can't do a hula hoop without space. And you can't do your muchness without space. So finding also the dimensions in you. You have the diagonals, you have the ups and downs and arounds. So finding any place in you that would like a little bit more of an invitation into your full muchness. Now, how can you radiate your muchness as you're moving around in the world, even if you're not doing windmills and things with your arms? How can you radiate that with your presence? How can you be so full in your own muchness that when you show up, other people are invited into their expansion, into their wholeness, into their completeness? So just notice there's plenty of space, there's plenty of room. When I'm in my muchness, I welcome other people to join me in the muchness parade. It's like the munchkins, only these are the muchnesses. So letting yourself feel any place in you. I'm sort of getting a lot of energy circulating in me. So I want to invite you to just notice any place in you. There's just a little place at the back of my knees where I'm feeling that there's just a little bit of contraction. So notice if there's any place in you that you're feeling contraction, and give it a love scoop. And if there's anybody in your world that you imagine might be in fear right now, I'd like you to scoop up your muchness and your love, and I'd like you to give that, let that float around, let that hula hoop around. Join your breath with it. Because I notice when I join my breath that I feel this fullness and spaciousness. I feel a lot of power and ease. So notice that your muchness can include opposites of loud and soft, and giant and tiny, all full of your full aliveness. And let yourself invent some movement that's just yours, that'll be your muchness signal, your signal to expand into your muchness. For me, it might be just a little, it's a little shake, although I could swirl my head, could, So something that you can use to signal yourself over the next few days of claiming your muchness, claiming your fullness, and inviting others to join you in feeling full of love, space, invitation for connection. So let's create new structures in the world that are based on full presence, full connection, and full play with others. So before we end for today, I want everybody to unmute, and I'd like you to let yourself make muchness noises to share with the rest of the group and with anybody else who might be watching this. Wonderful. Num, num, num. All right, well, breathing, presencing, connecting, playing, repeat. All right. Much love to you. Here.